JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. I do apologize for the slight delay in the start, where I was having a few technical issues here, but yep, hopefully everything is now kind of running smoothly. So yep, like I said, good morning everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, just before we jump into the charts, quick mention of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there. Now then, a quick update on what's happening here globally. So didn't quite load up properly the website, but yeah, there we go. So yeah, the figure of course continues to rise, and yep, there is a decent chance that we will be hitting the 5 million mark. I mean, that's probably was already clear on Monday, but unfortunately, of course. But yep, so for now the leaderboard, in terms of, if we can call it that way, in terms of deaths, is still dominated by US and UK, but in terms of infections, as we can see, Russia is kind of jumping into that second place, so together with Brazil in third and overshooting UK, which is on fourth. So now then, let's have a look at the markets and let's see what's in place for us for today. Now, yesterday the German DAX here closed in the negative zone, slightly in the positive zone. However, it declined here, but it remained below this 11,235-36 zone. I talked about this one. Still, the same kind of game plan remains. We need to see a nice good push above that area in order to aim for a further acceleration to the upside. So again, as long as it's kind of going to be closer to the upper side of this, well, we can call it a range actually, so to the upper side of the range, then yes, of course we will be leaning a little bit more to the upside. However, a break of that upper bound would still be needed. Looking at the cash index and where it's trading at right now, it is currently balancing at around 11,030 mark, so basically slightly below the yesterday's close. However, it still remains above this barrier, so it's going to be very, very tight. So it's going to be somewhere around here, and it's still above this high of the 11th of May. So still kind of there is a chance for German DAX to kind of push higher. However, as I said, in order to get comfortable with higher levels, we would like to see a push above the 11,235-36 zone. In terms of the downside, the same idea remains. We need to see a drop below this downside line and a drop below the 10,280 zone, which is the lowest point of 2018, and only then we'll consider deeper extensions to the downside. And preferably, we would like to see a daily close below this area. The FTSE 100, now here the index closed slightly in the red, but if we look at the cash index right now, it is trying to make its way higher. However, let's see if it'll actually manage to do so. But long story short, still we need to see a push above the 6,152 territory in order to aim for higher levels. Basically the same game plan remains, and in terms of the downside, we could start looking at lower levels if we get a drop below the 5,702 territory, and then yep, we could aim for this level here that I've got highlighted, the 5,500 zone. That's the lowest point of 2016. So again, we will start considering lower levels if we get a drop below the 5,702 territory, ideally a daily close. That's what we would prefer, and then yes, and then we will aim for these lower levels. However, for now, the index is closer to this barrier here, the highest point of April, so we'll remain cautiously bullish, I would say. Gold. Now, gold had a nice move yesterday to the upside. So I talked about this this pair and this commodity, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 20th of March. And as you can see, it provided very good support, had a fantastic rebound, exactly working out nicely according to plan. However, it's currently getting a hold up near this 1748 zone, which is the highest point of April. And for now, in a way, yes, we could aim for further acceleration to the upside. However, we would like to see a nice, good, strong move above this 1748 zone, and then we could aim for higher levels. Basically, the same idea applies as I've mentioned yesterday in my videos. So we would need to see a nice, good, strong move above the 1748 zone, then of course a violation of the 1763 territory, because keep your eyes on this one. That's the well, it's near the high of this week, and also marks the low of the 1st of October 2012. So but if that gets broken, then yep, it could open the door towards the highest point of 2012 near the 1795 territory. So and slightly above that we do have that, of course, that psychological 1800 level, so as well something to keep in mind. But again, guys, basically these obstacles need to be overcome first. So we need to overcome these obstacles first, and then yes, we could aim for further acceleration to the upside. But again, we are still more positive than negative on this one, and we are going to be aiming for higher levels still. But if this by any chance suddenly starts dropping below this upside line and falls below the 1723 territory here, then yes, we will aim for the downside. So yep, for slightly lower levels initially, and then we'll take it from there. But again, keep your eyes on this level as well. Silver, quick update on silver. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but basically this scenario that I was talking about initially, it could come in play if this barrier continues to provide resistance. But as you can see, yesterday we had a nice push higher here, didn't quite reach the level, the 1760 zone, and we're doing that this morning. So excuse me, we're almost near this 17.60 territory. It just fell shy of a few pips from reaching it. However, it's just the morning, so let's see if this what this day has in play for us. But if we get a nice move above this the 1760 zone, then of course the next target to consider is around 18.94-95 zone, which is the current highest point of this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's correct. So it's the current highest point of this year, and it would be quite interesting to see if we actually could make a new high. But again, with this momentum yes, there is a chance of hitting the all-time the high of this year, and maybe even creating a new one. But again, let's keep an eye on the 1760 zone, 17.60 zone, and if it provides resistance, then something like this could be possible, where we could maybe see a bit of a correction back down towards this upside support line. And if then it provides support, good support, then a rebound could be possible. But again, for now, all eyes are on the 17.60 zone. In a way, for now, we're leaning a little bit more to the upside. Brent oil, quick update here. So this one yesterday drifted a little bit higher, almost managed to reach this 36.10 zone, and then retraced back down and closed the day slightly in the red. However, today it's trying to recover, it's trying to push higher, but we will be very careful now with the upside, because as you can see, for obvious reasons why we're going to be very careful, because first of all, we have this strong area of resistance near the 36.1 level, and then we have a downside line taken from the high of the 8th of January, which in a way also could provide resistance. So that's why keep your eyes on this one. If we get a break of this downside line and we get a push above the 39.60 level here, this is where we could become even more comfortable with higher levels, because this would also place the price above the 100 EMA here on the daily chart, and maybe more buyers could see this is a good opportunity to step in. For now guys, yes, it probably requires us to be a little bit more on the kind of on the neutral side, I would say, because again, we want to see how it's going to behave near this downside line. But if it starts suddenly dropping below the 32.21 zone, now this of course increases the chances of a potential drift lower. However, to get even more comfortable, preferably a drop below the 28.66 zone could do the trick here for more sellers. Quick update on Bitcoin. Not much has changed, to be honest. I mean, I've looked at this one in the beginning of this week, and still the same kind of idea, still the same problem, I would say, remains. That yes, on one hand, it is trying to climb higher, while trading above this upside support line taken from the low, the 16th of March. On the other hand, it's still struggling with this level here, the area near that psychological 10,000 zone, and also the current highest point of May, which is around the 10,045 territory. So we'll keep an eye on this one. We'll keep an eye on this downside line as well, because again, let's not forget that we have a long-term downside line here taken from the highest point of December 2017, which kind of also continues to provide resistance. So as long as it kind of stays in this little territory here, then well, we're not really going to do anything. We would like to see at least a daily candle close above this downside line in order to aim for higher levels. Of course, preferably a weekly candle would be fine, but again, let's not miss out on anything here. But yeah, again, for now guys, we cannot really do much, because although yes, it is leaning a little bit more to the upside for now, we need to see that confirmation break first before getting comfortable with higher levels, because what we don't want to see here is another reversal, a drop lower, and maybe even a break of this upside line. And if something like this happens, then well, I mean, maybe it could be a good opportunity for the bulls later on, but for that moment, the bears could kind of take the driver's seat. AUDUSD, quick update here. So still not much is happening. I mean, yesterday we overcame this barrier, the 0.6570 territory, but we failed to close above it. So basically the same idea remains. We need to see a clear breakthrough one of these levels here, through one of the sides of the range where the pair is trading at right now, and then we will aim for a further directional move. For now, looking at this one, I mean, this way here, you can see that yes, it continues to form these higher lows here, and in a way, it's kind of could be a good signal that the pair could be willing to pop higher and maybe go for a higher high. However, as you can see, it's still struggling with this barrier, so that's why we'll wait for that break first, and then we'll aim for higher levels. In terms of the downside, yep, the 0.6373 level, that's what we need to see. We need to see a break of that, and then yes, we will aim for slightly lower areas. Quick update on AUDNZD. Now this one's quite interesting, because here the Australian dollar is losing its strength against its neighbor, the New Zealand dollar, and but still, I mean, we are still above this upside support line. So let's see if this upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of March, if it provides support. If it does, then we could see, yep, this arrow, kind of this idea that I've mentioned in the beginning of this week, this could be working out nicely. So the idea was that we may see a bit of a decline, but only up until this upside line. But if this upside line fails to provide support, and we see the rate falling below the area somewhere around the 1.07 territory here, then maybe we could consider slightly lower areas. Initially, we'll target the 1.0585, and then we'll take it from there. NZDJPY. So this leads us into this. This is quite interesting here. So previously I talked about this range for you guys to keep an eye on, and you can see that the pair kind of violated this area, this lower side of the range here, and then kind of reversed back to the upside. So in a way, actually, this is no longer kind of a range, to be honest, because this area got violated. So now it's mainly the support and resistance levels that we're going to be focusing on. So the current low, the current low of this week is roughly around the 63.45 zone, and the pair rebounded from that level nicely, and now it's testing this downside line taken from the high of the 16th of January. So in a way, what we need here is we need to see a nice, good, strong move above this. Ideally, we would prefer to see a daily close above this area, you know, in a way to kind of get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels. But again, until then, we will keep an eye on this one very carefully, because what we don't want to see is, and this is exactly what we're seeing right now, these false breakouts. So we want to see a nice, firm, strong daily close here in order to aim for further acceleration to the upside. In terms of the downside, to be honest, again, it's very difficult here. Preferably, we would like to see a drop below the current lowest point of this week. Excuse me, guys. So, do apologize for that. Now, like I said, preferably we would like to see a drop below the low of this week, and then yes, we could consider maybe some lower levels, because all this territory right here could still be somewhat of a neutral one, because still could kind of be the sideways action here could be seen, and basically would be like a bit of a no man's land here. So so yeah, that's why, guys, we will take a very careful approach here. For now, we could be leaning a little bit more to the upside if we get a nice strong move above this, but again, as I said, preferably we would like to see a push above the 65.91 zone. Quick update on US dollar against the South African rand. I talked about this one last week, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this wonderful pattern here, the nice triangle which is forming. As you can see, yesterday it did try to overcome this, the lower side of it, but failed to do so, and it's kind of back in here. So for now, we are neutral. We will continue monitoring this, because we want to see how long it can continue coiling up here. But we need to see a confirmation break either through the lower side of the triangle here and a drop below the 18.16 territory here. And then, yes, we could consider slightly lower levels. Let me just adjust this. This is kind of floating a little bit here. Now, one of the levels, of course, we'll keep an eye on this one, the low of the 30th of April, or even going for a little bit lower here, the 9th of April, which is around the 17.8430 zone, roughly around there. But again, we need to see a nice exit out of this pattern. So keep your eyes on this one. Could be quite interesting. GBPAUD. Now, I talked about this one yesterday, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 1.8654 territory, which is the low of December 2019. So it did overshoot it a little bit, but it kind of came back up here, and for now it seems that this could be an interesting area of support. But if that gets broken, of course, then yep, deeper declines could be possible. But for now, given that the pair is already a bit overstretched here to the downside, we will stay very careful near this downside line, because if this gets broken suddenly and we see the rate pushing above the 1.899293 zone here, then maybe higher levels could, this in a way, first of all, it could lead to a change in the trend, and yes, we could aim for higher levels. So, but again, as long as it kind of stays below this downside line, we have to lean more towards the downside. However, preferably to aim for lower levels, we would like to see a drop below this, a good drop below this 1.8653 territory, and then aim for lower levels, because at this point in time it would be quite difficult, as I said, because on one hand it is quite overstretched to the downside, even on a daily chart, and on the other hand it's still below this downside line, which kind of, if remains intact, could provide resistance. GBPNZD. GBPNZD, this one seems to be, well, drifting lower. I mean, of course, understandable because the New Zealand dollar is currently on the stronger side. However, what I've mentioned recently in my videos that for us to, yes, examine lower levels, we'll start examining lower levels if we get a drop below this level here, the 2.0124 zone, and ideally we would also like to see a drop below the 200-day EMA here, which currently is providing decent support. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. For now, like I said, we are leaning more towards the downside, given that we are seeing a nice drop below this 2.0123 territory. But also we would like to see a nice good drop below the 200 EMA on the daily chart here, and then and then our next target will be around the 1.9898 level. So keep your eyes on that one. EURCHF, quick update here. So this one keeps on popping higher, but it's struggling to stay and close above this 1.0612 territory, roughly around here, which is the high of the 20th of April. As you can see, on Monday we had a pop, but then the candle still closed below it. On Tuesday we had a pop, but the daily candle still closed below this level. And today we also had a pop, but it's still struggling to go further. So again, of course, this only kind of strengthens this idea of if this level gets broken, then, well, it could push further north, even could overcome the high of Monday. But this is, of course, from the short-term perspective. Yes, from the short-term perspective, we are still leaning more towards the upside, because there is a good chance for this one, yes, to move further north. I mean, our oscillators here are showing good signs, good positive signs. They're picking up the momentum here. But let's not forget, we're still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the highest point of April 2019. So let's see if this downside line provides resistance, good resistance. So yep, guys, keep your eyes on this one. With the downside, of course, preferably a drop below the 1.05 zone, but again, I do understand that maybe this area could be a bit of a too much to lose. So that's why we could start maybe looking at some lower levels from around here, from around the 1.0545 zone, because if it drops below this would also place the rate back below the 21-day EMA. So keep your eyes on this one. And finally, euro dollar. So this one popped higher yesterday, almost managed to reach this 1.0990 level, our target, the upper bound of the range. However, failed to do so, retraced, and today it's having another attempt. However, it's currently getting a hold up near the 100 EMA. So if we get a push above this 100 EMA here on the daily chart, then the next target, of course, for us is this 1.0990 level, which if stays intact, well, I mean, could keep the pair in the range for a while. But if this gets broken, now this is where, of course, more buyers could get comfortable, and more of them could be joining in. So that's why, guys, for now, yes, we are leaning a little bit more to the upside, but we'll then be very careful near this 1.0990 level if we reach that. If we get a break of it, then of course the obstacle here is the 200-day EMA. One moment, just a second. So the 200-day EMA, but if that gets broken, then yes, the next potential target is higher here, the 1.1039, and the or even it could go further north towards the high of the 27th of March near the 1.1147. So keep your eyes on this one. In terms of the downside, if this suddenly drops back below the 1.0875, and then yes, we could maybe aim for the upside line here, or even this lower bound of the range here, where the pair is currently trading in. So this 1.0777, a break of it could do the trick here for more sellers. But again, we are leaning more towards the upside right now. We'll keep an eye on the 100 EMA. If that gets broken, then or should I say, I wouldn't say broken, but if it pushes above the 100 EMA here on the daily chart, the next target is the 1.0990. Be very careful around here. But if we get a nice daily close above it, yep, higher levels could be met now. So guys, I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. If you want to join my video later on, my traders tea time around 13:15 GMT. But guys, I really appreciate your views, your likes, and really appreciate your time, and thank you very much for that. So yep, I hope you stay safe. I hope you be very careful today, and as I said always, stay safe, both market wise, financial wise, and health wise, and everything will be okay. So have a nice trading day, guys. Thank you very much, and bye bye.